Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon and Alex Lord. Last night we had one of the weirdest moments I have ever seen on it. Actually, we've had a couple. We had Tim Anderson knocked out cold, and then yesterday we have Ronald Acuna not necessarily attacked, but when two fans run on the field and start hugging you, and then the other guy was coming in a little too hot. Like I think he had the same intentions, lovey-dovey-dovey, but he was coming a little too hot. The security guard's laying on the ground behind him for the perfect tabletop. It reminded me of something that you'd see like when you're at like a middle school lunch. There's a lot to unpack here. One, obviously fans can't be doing that. I know there was no ill intentions. Can't do that. That goes without saying. But I think the biggest thing, and I think, Jake, you said it. I know we said it over a group chat. The worst part about all this was the security. How did he get so close to Ronald Acuna when there was no one even in the picture when he finally arrived and was hugging on him? And then once they did get there, it was like they were like fat slobs. Like they were totally ill prepared. And it was one of the most ridiculous things I have ever seen on a diamond. Thankfully, Acuna doesn't get hurt. He has 2 hits after the fact. He steals his 61st bag. He finished with 4 hits, a homer, 5 RBIs, 4 runs. Really, I know a lot of people talked about Mookie, and for good reason. But Ronald said, hey, I'm here too. I think that race is going down to the wire. It's going to be a fun one. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt. Super weird situation, though.
Yeah, that was my main takeaway. I said that like almost immediately. I was like, I think the worst look here is on Rockies security. Those guys, it took like 5 or 6 of them to get this one kid, and let me emphasize kid. This guy was probably like 5'8", like 150 pounds soaking wet. It took like 6 of these guys to get him, and like he wasn't running. I think he was resisting like a little bit, but like guys, come on, like let's show some professionalism here. Like show a little bit of force. Like come on, like let's protect the players on the field. I just thought it was a terrible look for them. The guys look slow, they look sloppy. It's the Stephen A. You fat slob, you Jabba the Hutt. Like
yeah,
like what were these guys doing? They were just sitting around. I guess they just weren't. They probably weren't paying attention for the most part because that's probably the first time anything's honestly ever happened. But yeah, that was a tough look for them. Terrible response time overall, just terrible showing.
Yeah, security guards are like one of 3 guys. Fat slobs couldn't get a job anywhere else, don't want to do anything. 2 super old people who are just there to watch the actual game. How many times have you seen one of those guys, just like a 60, 70-year-old security guard who's just there to watch the actual Braves game? Or 3, the guy who really shouldn't be a security guard and probably a cop or something. You know, those, you see them tackle people on the field and you're like, dang, like he's actually athletic. Like he just actually hit that guy. It's one of those 3 guys. And last night we got the fat slobs. It's kind of crazy that they can still get on the field in professional sports nowadays. But then again, I've never tried, so I don't know how hard it really could be. But I can
get on if you're just someone who needs to tackle.
This is blown way out of proportion. Look, Chase is right.
We see the hit stick all the time, man.
Yeah, I think the hit sticks are hilarious. I mean, that's the security guard Super Bowl. You're out there.
One at Truist Park last year, or like I think it was last year where they tackled him into like the backstop. Something like right there. We had a good one. Truist Park security doesn't mess around.
Everybody is just blowing this way out of proportion. Yes, if Ronald had gotten hurt, we all would have been, this would have been the worst thing in the world. We'd, curse these guys. We try and find their names and something bad would come of it. But nothing bad happened. It looked to be super, super innocent. They just went out there like us and just wanted a Ronald Acuna hug and picture. I mean, it was so clearly not supposed to be an attack. Ronald was trying to give one of the kids a high five or a handshake or you're okay. And then I think it was Kevin Pillar, a little bit a grizzled veteran once could say. It was like, hey, Ronald, back up. Like, stop. Like, don't go near him anymore. And Ronald was like, and then after the game, Ronald was like, yeah, it was fine. It's fine. I think people are blowing this way out of proportion. Like, it's okay. Like, do you remember the 95, the NL, when they clinched to go to the World Series? I know it's a way different thing, but back in the 90s, people used to rush the field in football, basketball, baseball all the time, regularly. Like, and I know a couple bad incidents have happened, but like, they were just a bunch of teenagers not doing anything wrong. This is crazy. People are accosting them for no reason whatsoever. The only reason he almost got hurt was because the security guards were incompetent, not these fans.
Well, I think the fans, I mean, yeah, they shouldn't go to jail for murder. I mean, they should go for jail because you just don't want to open up. You don't want to you don't want to open up Pandora's box here to where someone does get the idea of, oh, like, and especially, hey, people are drinking, and hey, you go to a place, there's some bad apples, and there's some drunk guy who's pissed off that his team's losing. He's like, you know what, I'm going to make the difference today. Like, I'm going to tackle Ronald Acuna or something like that. You don't want to open up Pandora's box. My actually only big issue with this entire thing, and I think this will happen, is MLB has to contact the Rockies and be like, hey, tighten up. Like, that was unacceptable. Yeah. Like, you have to have some sort of precaution, some sort of plan, some sort of people paying more attention. Like, I would be shocked if that wasn't sent to the Rockies. That's really the only thing that I think needs to get fixed here. That just is unacceptable because you just can't have people doing that. At the end of the day, as much as we all want to give Ronald a hug, there's a reason why we don't do it. But like, if the worst thing that's going to happen is that, and you just get out of jail at the end of the morning, you might have a lot more people being like, yeah, a Ronald hug might be worth that. That might be worth a little night in jail. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing is just getting the security fixed up because obviously these kids were not bad people and had no bad intentions and nothing bad happened. And they don't deserve to be hung from the rafters of Coors Field. But you gotta there's got to be something. We got to have something here.
Yeah, you can't have it, but these people acting like, they're like, yeah, spend a night in jail. They're like putting them down. It's like, all right, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. We don't need to dunk on these kids. It's absolutely not okay. I'm not condoning what they did, but to act like these kids are just the worst humans in the world is hilarious. You guys are like, people who are doing that are losers. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That was the most annoying thing last night is like all the people trying to be like the fan police. They're like, no, we need to take this seriously. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Do I look like do I look like a cop to you? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm just gonna crack a couple jokes. He's fine.
Soon as I saw Ronald was like up, healthy, laughing, kind of pointing and joking, was like, oh my gosh, what are they doing here? I was like, okay, it's time to fire off some jokes. That was it. I mean, that's a natural progression. Like,
I want to know, like, I still think it's ridiculous that they don't show these things on TV. And I know you don't want to like herald these people like and give them any more attention than they do, but I don't know how much that really like gets people not to do it. Like, it's like, I don't think a lot of people are doing this stuff to like get.
Enough people have phones that it's
in the day and age of cell phones, they'll get millions of views regardless.
Yeah, I was literally like trying to go to sleep because I was like, this is honestly kind of a boring game. It doesn't really mean that it's 10:30. And all of a sudden I was up for another 2 hours because I had to see what happened. Yeah. I had to go to Twitter and then I had to see everybody's reaction and everyone saw what happened. It's like, dude, just show it. Like, we're all going to see it. Like, it's ridiculous. It's going to be up on every, I posted something at 11:30 last night, said, hey, watch this. It was on Twitter. It was on the AJC. It was on every major news publication. You could probably go watch it on ESPN. It's just like, I don't understand this taboo, like can't show them. It's just like, it's a little overwhelming. Plus we all just want to see it. Like, you can't just be sitting there having guys talk about it. Another thing I want to talk about is Peter Moreland was hilarious up there in the booth. The guy was like, straight up ready to go down to the bullpen. Like, it wouldn't have surprised me if Gowden just solo took over the 8th inning and they're like, where'd Moylan go? It's like, oh, he's about to go beat up these guys in jail. Like, he was ready to go. Moylan's got that dog in him. He's like, I'll be down in the bullpen.
He's also a former player. So he has like a little bit of like, he actually can be like, oh yeah, like he can like deputize himself, not some dude sitting on his couch like trying to police people on Twitter. That's not the same thing.
You can tell he was genuinely perturbed. Like, he was like saying it. He was like, dude, I'm like shaking. Like, because I don't think he's up in the press box. I don't think he could see that they were just trying to do something. All I think he probably saw was, hey, what's going on there? And then Ronald Acuna falling. And it probably looked way worse to him than it actually was. But that is like the whole situation that you have to take into account when you're talking about these things, because yes, they weren't doing anything, but someone might, and there's alcohol involved and there's idiot fans and bad apples. And you just have to have better security. It just should have never happened. No one should have to be that close. It is cool that Ronald Acuna is kind of getting that like Messi Ronaldo treatment. You're starting to see people like, especially foreign people from those Latin American countries be like, I just want to touch this man. Like, I just like,
he's a god.
Like, yeah. It's like if this was a Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift concert, they'd be screaming and crying in the front row. Like but for Ronald Acuna, like that's really what it's like. But super, super weird situation. Glad nothing happened. Guy looked great afterwards. So it's all good. Coming up after the break, we're going to break down the SEC schedule for week 1 and give our picks. Who is going home with a loss in week 1?